Today on the channel, Jakks Classic Superstars 1 of 100's New York Toy Fair exclusives. Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for our weekly Jakks Classic Superstars deep dive and review. We've been going a year strong on these Jakks videos. I believe it's got to be close, if not over a year by this point. I should keep better track, I guess. But Jakks Classic Superstars, probably the greatest wrestling sets of all time. Very arguably, I know some people say LJN, some will say Hasbro. I'm going to say Classic Superstars is my favorite of all time, and I think a lot of you guys watching along are in the same boat with me. But you guys know we've done a lot of the videos so far. We've done the tag teams, we've done the 3-packs, we've done the single packs, we've done a few miscellaneous packs. But today, we're doing the 1 of 100s. Yes, the 1 of 100s, the ultra rare. Some of the rarest figures of all time in the wrestling universe, as you guys are probably aware of. At 1 of 100, there's only 100 in the world. But we're talking about the New York Toy Fair 1 of 100s today on the channel. But remember, if this is your first time or you've been watching these for a while, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. You don't want to miss one of these. We drop a new one every single Tuesday. For the foreseeable future, we got a long ways to go. We got a lot of miscellaneous stuff. We got the 1 of 100s, 1 of 25s, the Ultimate Warrior exclusives, Superstar Billy Graham exclusives, the Ringside Collectibles exclusive, other exclusives. We also got all of the Deluxe Classic Aggression figures. So we got a long ways to go on these Jakks videos. So buckle in, make sure you're subscribed, hit the old notification bell, and away we'll go. And away we go today to New York City. Beautiful this time of year. A little hot. I actually was in New York City in August a few years back. I don't know, 10, 12 years back. Went to a heavy metal show, of course. My wife and I. This was pre-kids, so this might even have been 15 years ago. But New York City Toy Fair, one of the biggest toy fairs in the world. The mecca, the cream of the crop. Big place, a cool place to go. I would love to visit it one day. But as you guys are maybe aware, back with Jakks, and still to this day, I would assume, with Jakks, Mattel, Hasbro, you guys know all the big companies are there, representing their wares, representing their goods, and Jakks Classic Superstars and the Jakks team, Jeremy Padawer and crew, no different. And they were always there. It was always a great peek under the tent of what's coming in the future, what new items we're going to have, what new Classic Superstars series were to come. But they always gave us one extra caveat, and it drove me absolutely insane as a younger collector. It was the 1 of 100s. Every one of these toy fairs and stuff, Jeremy Padawer would pull something out from one of the Classic Superstars. We already had them. It wasn't like we didn't have this figure anyway else, but it was something special. And they would do that in the 1 of 100s. These were given away at the toy fair. There was only 100 in existence, so you know the Jakks team got a few of those. And then they went out to a lot of industry people and so forth at the conventions. These aren't open to public, so it's not like just Joe Kyle can walk in there and pick one of these up, unfortunately. Very hard to get, and I gotta think, I always think of it and take a step back, how many toy industry people, you know, think of your daily job. Say you're an insurance salesman and you got a box of insurance pins for free from your work or from another insurance company that wants to be a part of you. You're like, oh cool, I'll use this pin for a little bit, and then you kind of throw it away. Well, think of that as a toy fair. Think of you're a guy that works in the toy industry. Maybe you have a love for it. I would hope any job you do, you have a love somewhere for it. That's a good piece of advice out there. But we all know that's not the case. Some people, it's just a job. It's what they do. And even if you're inside your job, so let's say you're in there and you've got a toy. You're a Mattel guy for toys or whoever you are. A guy for Target, a buyer for Target at this toy fair. Yeah, maybe you just got moved from the automotive section to the buying desk of toys. It's happened. I've seen that happen in my real life. But not everybody has the passion for toys and understands it. And you might be a toy collector of Hot Wheels and not understand action figures, or vice versa. Well, imagine if you're a guy in your 60s and you're working for whatever company, Target, Walmart, whatever, and you're given a 1 of 100 Bobby the Brain Heenan. I don't know who Bobby Heenan is. Who knows, you know? But I do have grandkids. Hey, here's all the swag from the convention I had to go to. Here, do whatever you want. How many 1 of 100s over time were lost to little Jimmy playing with it, opening it up, tearing it off the card, playing with it, throwing it away? That kind of stuff has got to have happened to a lot of these 1 of 100s. So we say they're 1 of 100s. Are they really 1 of 75s, 1 of 50s, 1 of 40s? Who knows? I mean, they don't come up a lot anymore, and a lot of hardcore collectors pick up these 1 of 100s over the years, and that's where they stop. They don't get back circulated. They don't come up for sale. Look at me. I have a few of those 1 of 100s. I have zero plans to sell these until, you know, the Great Purge in 20, 25 years, whatever it may be for me when it's getting closer to retirement season. That's when I'll purge it, and that's where a lot of these hardcore collectors are at. So it's a really interesting dynamic for these 1 of 100s, and they did have a few go up on eBay. We'd always see it. The weekend after Toy Fair, there'd be eBay mania, and you'd have 6 or 7 of them that would find their way to eBay, and they'd go for thousands of dollars. And young Kyle, fresh in college or out of college, he doesn't have any money. You know, college kids, we don't have money. And especially when you get out of college, you're like, okay, now I got to figure out how am I going to pay for my apartment, my 1-bedroom apartment. How am I going to put food on the table? How am I going to put gas in my Jeep? That's all I have to really worry about. And if I'm lucky, I can afford each Classic Superstar set. I didn't have the money to spend thousands of dollars or $1,000, whatever it was at the time, on a 1 of 100 figure. I definitely wanted to, but it wouldn't have made very good financial decision for me and probably most people out there, and most people to this day. That is why I am not a completist on these 1 of 100s. If you guys are, you guys let me know. I know there's a few of you out there. And with this video, I did get some help from Scott McGowan. I'll put a Twitter link to him. He helped me out. He has all of them. He's a collector. He's a serious collector. He has all of them. And also, of course, Wrestling Figure Database, one of the greatest places on the internet. If you ever searching figures, go to Wrestling Figure Database. That's how I found out really quick that these were all the ones we're going to discuss are New York Toy Fair exclusives throughout the years. And there's only 5 of them. 5 of them we're going to discuss today. And I actually own 2 of them. And you probably say, Kyle, you just said you don't want to own them and all that kind of stuff. And at my core, I am not a fan of limited edition stuff. Yes, it's nice to have, especially if you're a completist, stuff like that. It's nice to have. It's nice to be able to afford those things. I understand that. But I am a fan of the stuff that every Joe, every Kyle out there can pick up at a Target, a Walmart. That's what I like. I like the base stuff. I like some of these 1 of 100s outside of one of them. I like them just as much as some of the regular figures out there. You know, it's more of a gimmick, and I'm just not a fan. I want everything accessible to everybody. We should all have a shot, or at least a fairly good shot at things when they first hit the market. Time later, then it's a different story. But most people don't have a chance at these ever. And it's disappointing. It was a tough pill for me to swallow all those years back. It's a tough pill for me to swallow today. I don't have them all, and I don't think I'll probably ever get them all, but I play the long game on these 1 of 100s, and I only will buy them if I come across the screaming deal. And that's the 2 I have of the 5 we're going to talk about today. Got to get a deal, the motto of the channel. Couldn't pass up the deal, so I picked them up, and that's how my life will continue. I'm sure I'll get a few more in my before I call it a career in the figure game. But that's just kind of a quick talk, a 7-minute talk, setting the stage here before we jump into it. And let's just jump into it in no year order, because honestly, I don't know the years for each of these. I could have looked that up, but it doesn't really matter. 5 years, every year there's a New York Toy Fair, we got a figure. So we're going to talk about it. Let's talk about my favorite 1 of 100, possibly my favorite Classic Superstar figure of all time. You guys know he's a favorite wrestler of mine, Terry Funk. Absolutely love Terry Funk. I talk about him a lot on the channel. Just one of the all-time greats. And when they announced a 1 of 100 Terry Funk for New York Toy Fair, I first fell out of my chair. Then I cried for a while, knowing I would never get it. But then, all these years later, I don't know, a year, 2 years ago, whatever it was, I came across the deal and I picked it up. And here it is, a New York Toy Fair 1 of 100 Terry Funk. And you guys have probably seen this. This is a very famous figure. It's based off of his regular figure in the line, but added the extra touch. He's got the soft goods, a little different coloring to him, but the big one is the blood on the figure, a bloody figure. We've most recently got a bloody figure in the Jazzwares line with Dustin and Cody Rhodes. I'm sure a lot of you guys own that out there, a very good set. And you know, Jazzwares and Jakks, they got history between each other, so I do think we'll see more bloody figures in the future. But this one was at a time when bloody figures weren't around. There was the OSFTM, garbage figures. I don't own any of them. A lot of Legends that had bloody and non-bloody versions. I don't even barely count those as figures. They look like Happy Meal toys to me. I'm not a fan of those. But this was next level. When I saw this, I was just, like I said, so sad I wasn't going to own this. But all these years later, here I am. I do own this Terry Funk 1 of 100. One thing to note, there's some differences on this. Not only is it the only bloody figure in the Jakks Classic Superstars lineup, you can also see the 1 of 100 sticker. This is a one-off 1 of 100 sticker. This isn't the normal 1 of 100 sticker. So another point of difference on this Terry Funk out there. On the back, it just shows the back of the regular release Terry Funk. But the blood on here, the barbed wire bat, and then he also has the 1 of 100 stamp on his leg. It's kind of a blood drop is what it's supposed to look like there, as you can see. A very cool figure. Very cool. I had to have this in my collection, and when this came up, there was a guy selling it, but he would only sell it with another figure. I had to step up to the plate, and I picked up both of them. Two are my favorite ones. The other one will be in another video, so be prepared for that. But this Terry Funk is next level. But what I got with this Terry Funk, and another Easter egg, I don't know if Easter egg is the right word, but another cool thing about this Terry Funk, the majority, or at least a lot of these 1 of 100 figures, what ends up happening is at that toy fair, the wrestler is actually at the toy fair signing autographs and signing his 1 of 100 figure. Now, for me, I am not a huge fan of autographed figures. I know there's a lot of people that collect their figures autographed. For me, I like my autographs and my figures separate. I don't know. I do have a few autographed figures in my collection. Terry Funk is one of those. I have the Mattel autographed. Certain characters, I would have no problem getting that. But one thing about this one is this Terry Funk is not autographed. Most of these you see out in the wild on eBay or in people's collection is autographed. This is not. Because you know why? This was Jeremy Padour. We all know Jeremy Padour of Jakks. Jakks fame, now AEW Jazzwares fame, a legend in the toy industry, a legend in the wrestling figure industry. I don't know if there's anybody bigger in the wrestling figure industry than Jeremy Padour. But Jeremy, this is his personal Terry Funk. That is where I ended up getting it through, and I actually have a certificate of authenticity from Jeremy right here. He wrote this all out, and he donated this for an auction at, what was it called here? The Poplack Pike Playhouse. So he gave this to a playhouse out there. I think it was where he was from, in maybe Tennessee or something. And they ended up auctioning this Terry Funk off. And I ended up, the guy that wanted it at auction, I got it from him. But the first thing I did when I was looking at buying this, I sent this to Jeremy on Instagram. I said, Jeremy, does this ring a bell? Is this 100% legit? Is this yours? And he replied back and said it was so cool to see this after all these years. And he 100% confirmed this was his Terry Funk. So that's one of the reasons this was not autographed. So I think this is a really cool figure, just with that story that this was Jeremy Padour's Terry Funk at one time. It's not autographed. It is one of my favorite superstars. Terry Funk Ultimate Warrior, my 1 and 2 favorite wrestlers of all time. So to get that just makes it all that much more special. And that's why I couldn't turn this one down. Getting it from the Godfather, Jeremy Padour, Terry Funk, not autographed. Just a lot to love about this, and that's why I picked it up. So there's New York Toy Fair, Terry Funk. All right. For another one, we're going to talk about that I really wish I'd had. I wish I have right now, but I do not. One day, this will probably be the next one I get, the 1 of 100 Ultimate Warrior Toy Fair Edition. I believe this is from 2004. Yes, it is. Looking at the picture on my iPad right here. The 2004 edition. Is this having... Oh, this is 2005. So I'll try to remember to put the name. So Terry Funk's 2005. Ultimate Warrior was 2004. 2004, I was graduating college that year. I had no money for this, but just like Terry Funk, I saw the Ultimate Warrior, I said, oh, one I'll never own. And I've come very close to owning this 2 times in my life. I actually bought it off Mercari about 6 months ago. I got a screaming deal. And then a couple days later, the seller emailed me back and said, actually, I don't want to sell it anymore. I think I could get more money somewhere else. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. So I missed out on that Ultimate Warrior. I don't know if I'll ever own it. There's one for sale, a $4,000 best offer on eBay currently. It's in my saved listings. I just can't pull the trigger on that. That's just too much. But I'd really like that Ultimate Warrior figure. Once again, it's a repaint of the Ultimate Warrior we've had before. Just some slight differences of the Ultimate Warrior figure. It does have the stamp on the leg, of course, the stamp on the package saying 2004 Toy Fair, all that kind of stuff. But a very, very cool figure. One I will own one day. I just don't know when that day will be. Hey, if you got one, hit me up. Hit up your old boy Kyle. Maybe we can work out a deal. We'll see. Probably not, but we'll try. So there's the Ultimate Warrior, and that's the 2004 edition. And then another edition out there, and this is one of the ones that is the cheapest 1 of 100 figures. I've almost pulled the trigger on this one so many times. I should have done it way back in the 2007, 6, whatever it was from. But we're talking about the Mouth of South, Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart, one of the greatest managers of all time. He has a 1 of 100 figure. A lot of these are autographed too, I've seen over the years. But the 1 of 100, it's just a little different. You know, Jimmy Hart's had a lot of great figures. A little too tall in the Jakks lineup, but still some great figures with Hogan, the Nasty Boys, his solo one with the Hart Foundation, and then the 1 of 100. So some cool Jimmy Harts out there. One that's not the most popular. I mean, it's not quite the Ultimate Warrior. It's not Hulk Hogan. It's not a huge, huge name, Jimmy Hart. It's a manager. but still 1 of 100, and it's not a lot different from some of the other ones. Obviously he's known for his fancy coats and stuff, and that's what you get here, but 1 of 100. This one's still fairly reasonable price, probably around $600 to $1,000 on that one. I wouldn't be passing up that one if I found that if I could find that for like $500 somewhere or something. I'd probably pick it up. Jimmy Hart there. I'd probably pull the trigger. Then we get to another one, and this one was more of a modern day. It was right before Eddie Guerrero died, or maybe right after Eddie Guerrero died. I can't remember the time frame on this one, but it was the Eddie Guerrero 1 of 100. Basically a repaint from his Classic Superstars figure with the red instead of the green. Comes with the title belt. Comes with the I'm Your Poppy t-shirt. A very solid figure in pack. And story with this one for me, about 4 months ago, one of these came up for eBay on best offer and buy it now. Went back and forth on offers with this guy, and I finally said, you know what, I'm going to pay your full price. And it was something like $700. That is a screaming deal on that one. And I bought it, and guess what? 2 days later, I got a message just like Mercari all over again. I decided that this figure means too much to me. I'm not going to sell it. I'm canceling it. Just, it's tough to get these 1 of 100s, so especially if you got to live by the gotta get a deal mentality. And that's where I failed with poor Eddie Guerrero, unfortunately. So I do not have that one. But this is more of a modern day Classic Superstar, especially back in the time. Eddie didn't quite feel like a Classic Superstar at the time. He does now because all these years have passed. That's the beauty of the Classic Superstars line. But at the time, it's like, we're getting Eddie in here. We've gotten so many Jakks Ruthless Aggression figures. It feels like a wasted spot. But now, very happy all these years later. And like I said, that's the beauty of the Classic Superstars line. Then we got the final New York City Toy Fair exclusive, and actually I just picked this one up personally just in the last few weeks. Gotta get a deal. This came up on a figure website. I picked it up. It was on a clearance event. I couldn't believe that. So I got this way below book, and this is one of the ones I talked about the Ultimate Warrior, I talked about Terry Funk. This is another one. I sighed. I said, oh, I would really like to have this one. And which one is that? We're talking about Weasel Suit Bobby the Brain Heenan. Right there. You can see it, Bobby Heenan. It is autographed. So like I said, a lot of these are autographed over time. And Bobby is autographed. Now, I was really disappointed because I grew up a huge Bobby Heenan fan, like probably a lot of kids my age. Loved Bobby Heenan. And then I remember the Weasel Suit with the Ultimate Warrior. It was such a big event and such a cool thing, at least for little Kyle. So to see, hey, we got Bobby Heenan in the regular line, all that kind of stuff, but then they do this, 1 of 100 Weasel Suit. I said, you gotta be kidding me. That should be a 2-pack with Ultimate Warrior, a 2-pack with Greg Gagne if we have to. We need this out to the regular Joes, and unfortunately it was not in the cards. Fast forward to 2020, or 21, I don't know, whatever it was. We've got a Mattel Hall of Fame, or a Mattel Legends, Target exclusive, Bobby Heenan in a Weasel Suit. So somewhat trying to right a wrong from Jakks back in the day. But I got to tell you, and I've said it before on the channel, this one beats out the Mattel one. The suit on this one is such a better suit. Better quality, better look to it. It also has the claws on the Weasel Suit that was a big part of the Weasel Suit matches. You could always see those on there. Where Bobby Heenan in the Mattel one, to me, always kind of looks like Bobby Heenan at a slumber party. He's got his Snuggie on, and he's ready to take a nap. But I was very happy to get this Bobby Heenan just very recently at a very good price. Authenticated signature, all that kind of fun stuff. But I got Terry Funk, I got Bobby Heenan. So out of the 2 New York Toy Fair, I have 2 of the 5. So not terrible. That Ultimate Warrior is in my crosshairs. Jimmy Hart as well, if I can find him for a good deal. Eddie Guerrero, I'm not opposed to, but it's got to be a good deal as well. But I guess the question turns to you. Do any of you have a 1 of 100 Jakks Classic Superstars? What do you think about them? Do you love them? I know a lot of collectors do love stuff like this because it's so rare and it's kind of a way to flex your muscles that I'm a real collector. Personally, like I said, I go the opposite way. I want stuff that was available to everybody. I want everybody to have a fair chance at everything. Maybe that's too nice of me, I don't know. But, you know, I'm not opposed to picking up these pieces. I'm not opposed to paying for these, but I would just assume they don't exist. AEW Jazzwares, I have some of those figures, the Chase and the Rares. I'm glad they raised the numbers on it. Give more people opportunities. Things like this, to me, turn off a lot of everyday collectors. Because there's collectors out there that really want these things that say, now there's no chance of me ever getting this, for whatever reason. They don't want it, they can't afford it, whatever the reason is. It turns people off to collecting. I admit, maybe it turns people on to collecting on the vice versa. So I think it's just, what side of the fence are you on? And you tell me in the comments. Do you like them? Do you don't like them? I think we all like the figures, but we'd love if this was 10,000, 1 of 10,000, 1 of 10,000 instead of 1 of 100. Maybe that's just me, but tell me in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, of course. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to follow me on social media at SirPaul64 on Twitter, _Kyle_Peterson on Instagram. And that's it for this Jakks Classic Superstars video. An interesting one because I don't have all the figures, so we just had to have a little discussion about it. But next week, we'll do the other 1 of 100s, and then we'll jump probably into the 1 of 25s, and maybe some of the miscellaneous rare figures, and then maybe do deluxe classics after that, and then maybe some box sets and rings and miscellaneouses, and then maybe we'll finish up this video series probably towards the end of 2021, I would think, maybe even beyond. We'll see how it goes. But I think we'll do some lists as well, like maybe my top 10 figures that never happened, maybe an unreleased figure video, maybe a top 10 favorite, my favorite tag teams, my favorite 3-packs. We'll do some of that kind of stuff. We can all get our lists together. Maybe we'll do a month of lists and stuff like that. So much more to come on the channel. Make sure you're subscribed, hit the notification bell. A lot of Jakks Classic Superstars talk to come. So be ready, be prepared, and be here, or be square or something. But for Terry Funk, Bobby Heenan, and the rest of the 1 of 100 gang, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.